Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Look at
Good
you
morning.
being the comedian in the chat.
Sorry. We entered into a conversation on food for those watching and repeat, and apparently Tina's on a big chicken marsala thing, and so doing a lot of vegetarian stuff. And I thought for sure, doesn't that have chicken and chickpeas in it? You know, like,
Yeah, chickpeas come from chickens. It's just, little pieces of the chicken breast. Small balls and then dried up. So yeah, that's just rehydrate it and you got a chicken.
The chicken fed on a pea diet. It's just nothing but peas.
oh gosh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. How the heck are you guys doing today?
Oh, doing great.
Doing great.
Awesome.
Now that you know it's Memorial Day, it's even better, right?
Yeah, excited to find out after 3 days in here. Surprise, boy. I got to apologize to all my team members. I just got done scheduling a whole bunch of meetings for
Meetings on Monday because your calendar was open.
Yeah, it was so great.
Yeah, everybody's available. What the heck's
This
going
is
on?
amazing.
I know, this is great.
I was looking for some time.
I actually to speak at a session on for the Norway group on Monday, and I had to email them back and be like, my calendar was open because I had that day off. I'm gonna be in the car.
Oh, well, hey, isn't that a testament to how much we love what we get to do every single day, and we're so blessed that we get to do that for a living, right?
That is true.
For sure.
So true.
Awesome. Hey, we got a new face here, Russ Abrams.
Hey guys,
how the heck are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here. So this is awesome.
Awesome. And we're gonna get into it a little bit, but can you introduce yourself and where you come from and what you do?
Sure. My name is Russ Abrams. I've been a Lean Sigma Master Black Belt for 25 years. And that means I have been entrenched in data and statistics for that length of period of time, to the point where I've made sure my kid gets up, brushes his teeth in a certain period of time. So my whole life has been Lean and Six Sigma.
Wait, how old is your kid now?
He is going to be 15, and he is an amazing kid.
Does he stick with that structure, or
he
hasn't
is an
rebelled
incredibly self-disciplined kid?
And
everything goes off on an Amazon timer.
That's an interesting testimonial to the Six Sigma process. So
cool. Well, so one of the things is that I've done, and this is changing behaviors, right? So as a young child, you can have dessert, but we want to have more of the good stuff before we have the bad stuff, right? So let's have all the good stuff, and then you can have the bad stuff. And he actually was, I think I got him to read much earlier, because every time we went to a place and I says, "What's on the menu?" I go, "Oh, they got crocodile eyes and so, or broccoli. I'll take the broccoli. So it's all how you phrase things so that kids make better decisions going through." So
what's his opinion on chickpeas?
Chicken is great.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, it's great to see everybody in the chat. I'm seeing Andrew. Good morning. Aaron, it's good to see you as well. Stina, Data Part. Andy Leonard. Mark, of course, is here, bringing the ninja. Guillermo. Who am I missing? Jason is here. Oh, what happened to Donald? Is Donald okay?
I talked to him yesterday, so yeah.
Okay. All right.
I can't remember
Jack,
what
I see in the chat. Boy, we just got some of my favorite people are here. So good to see everyone. And if you're new to the live stream, why don't you put in #new? And if you're old to the live stream, put in #old. All right. Quick, before we dive into this, I have a couple. I actually have a number of announcements I want to quick hit on. Number one, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we have a show that we're running. We've got, I think, 11 episodes in the can of Do You Know Fabric? That is releasing every single Monday at 7 a.m. Episodes 1 through 7 are out. You can see 1 through 3 if you're not a member. Become a member and you get access to all the content earlier. You can go watch episodes 1 through 7 right now for as little as $5 a month. You can do that. While you're doing that, and if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button on the chat. This really does help out the YouTube algorithms. We do appreciate that. If you are on TikTok, we are now live streaming on TikTok. So hello to all the TikTok people out there.
Wow.
We have to do a dance.
That's right. That's right. We got all
the dance thing.
high five each
Yeah,
other
we're
throughout the thing.
Do the dab thing or whatever it is. It's good to see you there. And then the last thing, well, no, not second to last. If you have questions for what we're about to be talking about, because we're here for you, put Q colon in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get the question in, and we'll make sure that you get those answered. Okay.
That sounds like rules that Christina should cover.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Christina. I got a lot to get through today, so I'm trying to be here as quick as possible.
Chris, I only get paid if I say the questions. If I say the thing, it's the only time.
My word.
It's an Actor Guild's contract.
Yeah.
You have to have lines. You have to have these lines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't say them, you don't get paid. So terribly sorry.
I don't get my 3 cents an hour. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa,
you got a
Who
raise.
gave you the raise?
No.
Like
Chris said, we've got the Q colon. I think Jared put it in the chat on an example question, and then don't spam the chat. Those are the 2 basic rules. We've had no issues with them so far, so don't be the first one that we have to kick out for that. I think we're all pretty good, at this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then my last big announcement for everybody here, and this is new for everybody. So, actually, we're gonna do this.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, drum roll.
Yeah. So big one here. Kratos BI Studios is going to be moving. We're going to be moving the first week in August. So leading into the move and leading out the move, please note that live streams, videos, all the content that we're putting out, we might see some significant dip in those things. So please be aware of that as we move studios. But we're moving to a property out in the country. So it's going to be an interesting move. We're very excited about that, but you're going to start to see things like lower in the Kratos BI Studios in the upcoming month or 2 months before the move occurs. And then you'll see them come back up in the new studio as we go live there. So,
well, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Chris. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Very excited about it. We've been looking for 5 years, so it's exciting to finally. We've got all of the paperwork signed, documented, I's dotted, T's crossed. We've got the super high mortgage interest rate that's now available, so we're very excited about that. We've locked in really high, so there's only down to go. So we're like, yes, because we must be getting a premium mortgage.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
I see refinancing in your future.
Yes. Yep. So yes, we're going to be redecorating. We're going to see a whole new style and whatnot, and excited for that. All right. That's enough of the chit chat and all that stuff. Russ, tell us about, let's take it from the framework of what Kevin say. I don't know what I don't know what Six Sigma is. I don't know what lean is. Can you help us with that?
Absolutely. I don't know if we can start sharing, but so let's, that's not it. Let's see what happened there.
We're We're just gonna do this live, folks. It's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to reshare
As
or do you
always.
want to?
Yeah, I'll reshare. I don't know what's.
Okay. It's all right. This is how we do it, people. You know,
No,
we're happy to
This
play
is
around.
how you know we're live.
Right. This is not scripted. This is not.
Not
It's not AI
pre-recorded.
generated.
Yes.
That's
At least
Right.
not
All
that
right.
we know of.
let's put it in presentation mode again. Now it shows up. Does it
Okay.
show up?
Let's. It's what you're sharing, Russ.
Okay.
You're sharing
you
this
share?
not the presentation version, but the slide. But
Okay. Then that
well,
okay.
why don't we just play from here?
We'll
Okay.
go from here. That's fine.
All right.
That's fine. So basically, let's kind of start off the framework, real basic of a plan, do, check, act situation where we understand what is it that we're doing in our process. You know, we want to and understand what's going wrong in the process. Look at it, understand what's wrong, and then fixing it. And what I started to discover with Power Platform is it has all of the tools that you need to actually do a project in Six Sigma and in Lean. And Microsoft really never advertised that. It was kind of like, hey, here are these tools, go figure it out on your own. What are you going to do with it? And I saw it fit into an already established framework. So exactly, let's kind of go over what Lean is. And when I say the word Lean, and it's not a way to lose weight. Anyway, shape or
Oh,
form.
dang it.
So sorry, but you could eat a lot of chickpeas and see what happens. I don't know. So basically, Lean is a real way to actually make sure that the only steps you're doing is actually adding value to something. So if I'm searching for data, that's not adding value. I should know where that is. And that search time is actually what we consider a waste. And if I'm waiting for a piece of data, we consider that a waste as well. So now we say, look, if I really had everything lined up, I could actually assemble what I needed to put together in no time, which is every one of us from requirements gathering, right? If you think about, oh, we need this, that's the long pole really for what we do. So when you think about pulling all of that together and say, okay, do we have everything we need set up in place? Now we can put everything together and we have no wasted steps and we're moving fast. So we're looking at our steps in our process. Now, I talk about this. It's better on the slideshow. You know, it's better with my brother with the guy juggling. I don't know if there is, but if you think about our fairy tale with Goldilocks, as she went from seat to seat, bed to bed. Well, I didn't think about that with Goldilocks, but we went from porridge to porridge, right? So from porridge to and I don't know what porridge is, but one was too hot, one was too cold, and one was just right. And if you think about that from a metrics perspective, and you say, okay, this one was too hot, this one's too cold, this one's too. And what is it that Goldilocks actually wanted, right? And when we go to Starbucks or we go to a coffee place, and we want the coffee just right. We don't want it to be too hot or too cold. We really do want it to be within a certain range. And that's the acceptable range. But that's with everything. That's with the meat we're cooking, with or without chickpeas. But if we have it right, I mean, that's dead down to the recipe. I want ribs falling off the bone. To get it falling off the bone, that is what we call KPI. Key performance indicator. I know that those ribs are going to be amazing if it falls right off the bone. It's going to melt in my mouth. And you guys got me hungry before we start, so it's your fault that I'm actually getting you hungrier. So,
and we'll roll into the 3-2-1 method for that here in a little bit.
yes.
Wait to see who knows that one.
So that's what Six Sigma is about. Six Sigma is really understanding what factors in our production is making it too hot or too cold, right? So that's what we're going to look at. And if it's too sweet, or if it was, you cooked it too long, there's different types of meat, different temperature, that's why we have that calculation, right? The amount of beef or meat, whatever it is that you're cooking, is based off of pounds, how long you have to cook it for, right? So
so you really just don't want to like screw it up.
so basically, and this kind of, because of the formatting and everything, but really what I did is I there's Hack IKEA, right, where people buy different parts and pieces and make this incredible stuff a little bit cheaper. I feel like I've done the Hack Power Platform, and that's where this is kind of showing up here. But what it's really doing is I'm taking the Power Automate, where it's used to automate the tasks, but I'm getting rid of that waste of waiting. And now I'm creating a lean flow, and I'm physically preventing a defect from getting in, right? Because I can create and make sure that it's not coming through. Now, instead of just displaying data and displaying information in Power BI, we use the AI that's embedded into Power BI to actually determine the root cause and interpret the data for us, so that we now have understanding that, this type of meat is going to take a little bit longer than this type of meat, right? So we have different temperatures of beef and chicken and so forth. Now, from Power Apps perspective, it's used for forms, but we can also, again, physically prevent the defects and control the inputs that we're receiving, right? So that it's accurate. We can validate it against different pieces of information.
So you're saying I can do this with like any type of data that
you can do anything you want.
Absolutely. Actually, we do have we set it up in a way so that it is understood from people who don't have any type of training or understanding. It kind of goes through. I'll kind of delete this so you can kind of see really where we're going through it for everything. So what I do kind of recommend, because we've now led huge data transformations with this, right? Where basically we say, look, in the first week, I want you to learn Power Platform and understand the waste in lean. So that way you see it in your own work and what you're doing. And then the second week, go ahead and basically work on a few applications. Take a task, something that you do every day, every week, and say, can I start automating the first few activities? And what you have is that a whole group working together where they're doing the same tasks. They're now working on the different ones, and then they're sharing it at the end. And they're saying, look, so now we've automated more of our tasks and those activities. And then we do later on is say, wait, why can't we go further? Well, we can't go any further because I'm waiting for information. I'm doing something here. I can't go any further. We've got our Six Sigma project. We have to figure out why we're waiting and what type of information we wait for, who we're waiting on. All these factors kind of go into everything. So we kind of do kind of a 5 why analysis. Why are we waiting? What are we missing? And we say, remember, I don't know if you got this clip, but the Wizard of Oz, because of one thing he does. So if you think about why are we waiting? Because finance has not responded. Well, why has finance not responded? Because we're waiting on updated supplier costs. Why? Because procurement hasn't received the quotes yet. Why haven't they? Because the supplier. And now what this does and what we teach is we actually convert this into data that we're going to collect so that we can validate what's really going on in our situation. All right. So
this allows you to identify who's really the bottleneck.
Not necessarily who. We never want to say the who. We want to say the process.
Oh, the process that's the bottleneck.
We want to understand which.
So we don't want to identify the homers. We want to identify the processes.
Or the homers in the process.
The factors, yes.
Not the people.
But sometimes it could be the form, right? I mean, if our form allows bad data, right? I mean, that's kind of our fault. We want to make sure we can update that and make sure we don't have that as a situation. So one of the things we go through here, and this, I got to switch it to, I hope I can switch it to this. Tell you what, I'll play through here. I don't know if you folks are familiar with. Let's see. I'll zoom in here. So a lot of people say I don't have this on my computer, process mining, and everyone does. And I kind of show this is exactly where it is. It's in Power Automate, and there is free value up until about 100 megabytes. I think they say of load, which is plenty of data. So you can take your log files. And the way I explain it is like getting a sandwich, right? How do you want your sandwich? It was Quiznos, Subway. Here's my bread. My bread is going to be my order number. Okay. That's going to be everything that all my activities are in. What do I want in it? Well, I got to get the chicken. I got to get chickpeas. I got to get some extra mayo. I got to get this. So I don't know if Quiznos is still around, actually. I don't know. They didn't follow the process. They're out of business. If you don't stay up with the customer and what they want, they're gone. So basically,
they lied about their profitability to their franchisees, and they got the crap suit out of them. And that's what happened to them. Like they're like, you can make $1 billion with a $10,000 investment, and people were like, okay, and then no one made $1 billion, and everyone. From what I understand, this is all allegedly, as I recall.
As I do remember from my own experience, I was helping out a franchise as well. I won't say the name, and we surveyed the franchise ors, and it was horrible feedback. But that was what we had to start improving. And like, oh no, we're going to hide this information. And I go, well, that was the end of my contract with them, because that's really the start of improving your process, is to listen to your customer and make those changes. So, right. So what we're doing here is we're actually importing in all our sandwiches that we made, all those different activities. And what we're going to do is identify the order ID number. We call it the case ID is what they referenced. And the activities are the events, is where how we translate this. And what we're able to do is mark the time it took. And now it's looking at, if it's lateral, like all these activities are taking place, we can now map out our entire process. It's going to show us where our defects are. It's going to show us where our waste is. It's going to show us where our rework is. So we can now map out our process in 10 minutes, as this is on fast. So it takes a little bit of load to load. But other than that, the work where we had to always ask people, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? It's their memory, and they're not going to say, oh, yeah, I messed up 3 times last week. So all the data is right here for us. So now we can actually identify. And I'm going to go through, this is a good one. Get ready for a donut clip. I'm going to go through the 3 donuts. You got to have a Homer donut clip in here.
I have a negative reaction, and I have a positive reaction.
Oh, the donut with the drool? That's gotta be one for. So we have 25 variants. So just so you know, that is basically the different ways, combinations of different things that we added to our sandwich, right? So we have different activities that took place, and 25 is the total number of activities that took place. Then cases is how many orders we have. And activities, we only have 8, but we have 25 different combinations. That's a lot of different combinations of sandwiches, right? So what we're going to do is, as we fast forward this, well, I think we're having a good time anyway, just talking about other things. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at our mean duration. So we're going to see which time is taking the longest, and we can actually start going after those. Now, this was set up so that it was a really bad process, so we have a lot of different things to look at. But what we also want to do is understand basically about 80% of our process, so we can start understanding which activity or which sandwich is ordered the most often. and I'm using sandwich, but you can just replace that with anything in your business that you work on and create, and say, look, if I can fix the one that comes most often, or the steps that are involved most often, then I can actually fix most of my project and my problems. So we can look at the right now, we're able to look at the rework count. It's already telling us where our top areas to focus. So within the training, when you go through the training, you realize, start with the rework, start with the defects. That's your bottom line. That's where you're going to start. Then look at the long time that it's taking us to fix. These are all the different combinations. It's really hard to look at this and figure out, well, which is the top 80%? I got 10 here, 7 here, 6 here. So what it's able to do for you, if you go back to the map, I'm able to actually reduce my activities so I can just look at the top 80%.
Oh,
And now I've got my activities.
Wow.
And
is
now
this
again,
all
I
baked in?
didn't do any of this. All I'm doing is teaching what Microsoft has installed and putting it into basically the methodology to improve your process. All right, I can.
But
Go ahead.
how? How
But
did
how-
I do that?
Is this all just from Power Automate Desktop?
Everyone says that. Yes, it is. No one
Wow.
looks at- See, that's the whole thing. If you go into process mining, you see that little button right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been there the whole time. I swear, I'm not a magician. I didn't make it up.
Wow.
I
had no
wait,
idea.
there's
Learn
more.
something
There's
new every
more.
day.
Every
If you call
day.
now, I'm going to
Okay, I'm
throw in
excited.
another one from Power BI. Okay, so this is where the training comes in, because we have to learn how to collect our data. We have to learn how to do everything. Now, you do know about key influencers, right? Have you used
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Guess what?
maybe I know about it, but what is?
Oh, what does everyone else know? I'll tell you about it. There you go.
Yeah.
So now, if I go back to my why, basically, why were things late? I now have a table that says these were late and these were on time. That's going to be, I'm going to go back up a little bit. That's going to be my defect status. Was it late or was it on time? Okay, that's my fact table. Okay, now I've pulled in all those questions that I had answered, going through what's going on here, what happened to our form, which piece of information was missing. And what I'm doing is I'm dragging that in. Missing form field, right? Delay reason. And because it's like such a big screen, one's on one side, one's on the other. So what I'm doing is I'm flying in different variables here. And of course, it's recalculating. And it's actually recalculating that entire 5 whys chart I showed. But instantly, it's telling me right away in English, not the way we did it in statistics, that your p hat is at 0.05%, which is saying that it's a 95% chance probability that you have a defect. This is pure English. It's telling you, is it late? Is it on time? And it's telling you that if your missing form field is contact email and your email is wrong, it's missing an email address, you're 2.36 times more likely for it to be late. And I can drill into each defect, each field, and say, okay, what happened here? What happened here? And then, because I have different populations, we showed that there's 25 different variants, right? So we really have different customer segments that are going on here. We want to look at our top segments. We want to look at our chicken eaters, our beef eaters, our pork eaters. Those are our different populations, right? So then we can it also calculates for you and changes the charts based on the type of data, right? So right now it's showing what's a continuous versus discrete data, which is obviously, on time and late is going to be very discrete. You can't have a half late, half on time, although, very influential children can say I was half on time, Dad.
That was close.
So now I can look at my top segments. I can look at that population, and I can really understand what happened in that type of. It can really narrow it down. but I want to look more general, a little bit larger at the population. So it's going to go into the top segments. I'll fast forward a little bit.
Oh, hang on one second here.
So
All right, hold on. So
Yeah.
want to hit on something really quick. I know there are a lot of people that are in the chat and they're like, this is incredible. We're saying this is awesome and we love it. If you're looking at this and you're saying, I love this, but I don't have the energy to pick this up right now, get yourself some Nero gum. It's got natural caffeine, L-theanine, B6, and B12 that you get sublingually, which is the best way to absorb your caffeine, your B12 vitamins, and all of your L-theanine. So that's right. That is Nero gum. Buy some today.
that's the true key influencer right there.
Yeah, you're right, Christine. Someday we'll get us an actual sponsor. We're not sponsored by anyone. We're out there schlepping, so maybe one day.
I'd really just like to go back to Buffalo Trace then. That's my vote.
Buffalo Trace.
Oh yeah. Where's my Buffalo? Yeah. Well,
So-
Kevin, if you want to do a plug for Buffalo Trace, you just got to get out the bottle of Buffalo Trace.
I'll be right back.
All right, let's keep going. Well, Kevin is going ahead.
Yeah.
And get our
Basically,
next sponsor.
what we're looking at is the segments. So, different population segments. Some are gonna get the gum. Some will get this. Some will get the trays. Right. The different populations, different types of ordering. But which one is more likely to have a defect? And this is a great way to break down your meat. I actually did a really interesting thing. I had a steak I bought from Costco and the high-end butcher and all this, and I did a comparison to see which steak was best.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good weekend.
Well, on that note, and I'll challenge anyone on this. If you're going ribeye to ribeye, I have been in multiple cook-offs comparing ribeyes from butcher shops, ribeyes from online vendors, ribeyes from Costco, and ribeyes from Sam's Club. And taste-wise, Sam's Club has won 5 out of 5 tests.
Shut up!
Really?
It's the sole reason I maintain a Sam's Club membership is to buy a couple packs of ribeyes every year. They are the best tasting ribeyes that I have found. I don't know why it is, but if you line them up right next to each other, you treat them all the same, you put them on the grill for the same flip marks. You wait for them to get done, and then you do blind taste tests. The Sam's Club steak wins. Again, we're not sponsored by anyone, but holy cow!
I was just about to cancel.
That
my
was not
Sam's Club
included
subscription.
in my sample at all.
People don't even think about Sam's Club as that's where I should get meat, but
There's a reason.
I happened to have one day. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? And they're like, I got it at Sam's. I'm like, shut up, because I'd had one that I had made from a local butcher the day before that I'd paid $40 for that raw meat. I was like, oh, I spent all this money and it was great. But then I had the Sam's Club one. I'm like, is this better? And so then I did a couple competitions, or I did a competition. Nobody believed it. And we did a couple more with some other buddies, and
Still won again.
It won 4 or 5 times. So
Did you include Costco in that as well?
Yeah.
And beat it out?
everyone's like Costco is far superior, and I buy 99% of my products and stuff from Costco. I am a Costco guy. My ribeyes, though, sorry, Costco, you have.
Anything came in second or anything close?
What's that?
Or anything came in second or close?
They're all very good, but
No.
everyone picked the Sam's Club steak as better when in a blind taste test, and it was shocking to see that occur. So
when I did my test, that we didn't have a sole winner. It was you know, stacking it. So Costco came in second to the butcher one, and you know, with a different one. But that was so wow. Okay.
I was shocked, and I'll be honest. The last time I did this was 10 plus years ago, but I've continued to buy Sam's Club steaks. They continue to taste this. Like, I haven't noticed like, oh, they're not as good anymore, or there's any, like, they're, you know, they're filled with gristle or anything like that. I've not noticed that at all. So this Memorial Day weekend, there's your tip. Right.
I'm thinking it's worth the trip just to kind of reproduce the test. Right?
I say so.
So I mean, just get us all together.
Exactly.
We'll do a live stream from the new house with you supplying steaks from all these different places.
If we can get everyone to come up to my house, we'll definitely do a live stream.
And Buffalo Trace will be there.
And Buffalo Trace will be there.
I'll actually bring some, not like all the times I told Kevin I was going to bring some, and
but not this one, not this bottle.
It's a beautiful house. It's on a river. I have 1.6 acres on the Milwaukee River.
Nice.
It is
wow,
unbelievable. You could see the full, like, from where the river on the horizon on one side to the river on the horizon on the other, from almost every room in the house. It is absolutely gorgeous. So we're very happy.
Wow. Well, we might have fish as another example for the next show. If you got all that fresh fish coming through there.
That is exactly true. We might have to give that one a shot. You know, set up. There's a fishing spot and a place to launch. What are those little things that people get in and then do the, like,
boats?
I'm
the kayaks or the
kayaking.
Kayak, paddle boat, something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it is very peaceful. We're very excited about it. So, but back to your great conversation.
So basically, what we're able to do is, as we look at our different population segments, we can actually look at a proportion, and understanding that one population may have a portion of their population where it may have a higher rate. So we can actually go into this, and this is actually the way you would actually look at your Sam's Club, to be honest with you, honestly, because you would actually show that you have a higher proportion of people choosing the Sam's Club type of meats. So if it was more than one rib that you would, ribeye test, maybe you have different ones. So you can actually show that the reason why things can change. So this is actually, if we look at, it's going to go too fast here, but it's looking at vendor performance, and it actually went by days. So how long things were. So we could actually say, like, look, if we notified them in this period of time versus this period of time, we had a higher proportion of them responding back appropriately versus not. And we can say, look, they respond better on Mondays than they do on Thursdays. We can really go into understanding what's going on in that one tool. And that's what's so fascinating about those leading indicators. So then
I gotta tell you, Russ, this is the best use case I've ever seen for the key influencers vision.
I'll get you into the training. I'll get you into the training, because I am telling you, this is the bottom line. This is Six Sigma, understanding the defects, understanding the waste. So now your improvements, you're going through, all your defects. So I also do, from a training perspective, if this is your defect, if this is your waste, this is the tool to use to fix it. And we do have basically we have two things. We have a job aid that kind of walks the user through step by step by step. So they're finishing the project. And in 2 weeks, we're going to have an AI bot, which is myself, a little bit of humor and jokes, not guaranteed to make you laugh, but it'll also answer your questions as you're going through the project. So I advertise that you'll be done in a day with this project. With the bot, you'll be done in an hour.
Wow.
And you can see how fast you're able to move, because now you're saying, I need a flow that does this, and it's going to help you with the flow. I need a flow that does this, and it's going to help you with the flow. So we're now moving really, really fast for those improvements. And we can make a new form, right? So that's the other thing with this one is how to make a new form in the app. So it's we're not missing information. And if we are missing it, it's flagged immediately. So we're able to kind of pull everything together. So this is basically the whole thing. So it's $397 for a license for a green belt. You get 2 certifications once you finish. You get a Lean Sigma Green Belt certification that's accredited by the Six Sigma Council.
Wow.
You also are trained in PL 900, so you can go take the test, and I guarantee you will pass. If you don't, I will tutor you so that you do, because it is the amount of training that you go through this, you are skilled and ready to do it. And because you're automating those activities, remember, we're automating those tasks and those different activities. You're going to do, on average, $15,000 a year in savings, right? Because those are the tasks. And we're saving an hour a week or 2 hours a week, but we average about 6 hours a week for our students. And we also teach about the KPIs, your key performance indicator, right? So if it's not, if your meat's dry, doesn't work. If your meat, certain things, what has to be there, and so that's basically the training. We do have an accelerator license, and the accelerator license is made for when you have 10 or more, and that usually comes free with the training. And what that's meant for is management, so that management doesn't come through and say, wait, you didn't fix everything? What are you talking about? And what we also teach is how to respond to a KPI. If my KPI goes up or down, I need a playbook. What are my activities? Again, we're doing automated the activities and tasks I need to take when my KPI changes in this direction. We create the playbook, then we have projects to start automating it. But we focus on that so that we don't say, hey, reporting guy, you're wrong. Because that's someone's first reaction. Their stuff went red. So they get angry at the reporting guy or gal, right? So reporting person.
We've all had that experience. Yeah.
So this is really saying, if you don't have a plan, let's focus on the plan, not the people. Right.
And so if people want to sign up for this, they go to powerleansigma.com, right?
Yes.
Okay. That link is in the chat, everybody. So do check that out, as well as the direct link to if you wanted to subscribe. But you will find the subscription link. It's right on the homepage. It's front and center. Enroll now. So very easy to subscribe to this as well. So,
and I'll give a discount for you guys on the call. So $100 off for you guys if you use the code, and you can put this in there, FAB25.
Nice.
So that's for
FAB25 for $100 off. That is awesome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. That's for all the listeners. There you go.
How long is this? This is for a limited time only. So those of you watching this live stream at some date in the future, this is not guaranteed to still be active. But if you sign up now, you can get $100 off.
That's right.
I got to do my due diligence on the legal side of the house. So nobody comes back for $100, right?
Well, you got some of those $100.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't think I have them with me, but yes, I do. That is fantastic. This is awesome, man.
Thank you very much.
And you're saying that the $397 is for lifetime access to this? Is it for a year?
Yeah,
is it for 2 months?
Lifetime access. So one of the things also we're working on is the black belt. And this is actually a great interaction I have with you guys and the crowd. Because the black belt, I can't get accredited, because what I'm doing is I'm teaching the stats behind it, but I'm not really teaching the tools, because I'm letting AI do all the work for them. And
Oh,
the
sure.
accreditation says, no. They have to go through all of this rigor and they, and I sit there and I go, I learned how to use.
Doesn't sound very lean.
Exactly. I learned basically on a stats program, right? I didn't have to learn stats using an abacus.
Right.
So,
Right.
so that was the one before, before me was that, or a slide ruler, right? I didn't have to learn on that. So why do you want to make the people, because they just haven't changed the standards for the curriculum, right? The standards, and AI is so new and everything else. So I think I am going to release it without an unaccredited situation, and then have an additional course if you want to learn backwards.
Right.
But I think I really like, I don't learn Morse code. I could email. I didn't have to learn Morse code to email. Like, it's just, we have to start kind of moving on. And this is something that it's where I find it really fascinating to be in that situation, where I'm now the leader and the visionary, and I have that thought, and the other guys are just not there.
Yeah.
They're just stuck there.
So, Jared, I know you've posted a number of great comments about how much you're learning here. A question for you: what has been your exposure to Six Sigma or Lean prior to this, and then a follow-on? What do you know about it now? Does this make sense to you? And
so I'll say honestly, this is fascinating because my experience with Lean Six has been, I've worked in organizations that have implemented Lean Six. I have done some research on it because I do a talk in the community on building data culture, and one of the common correlations I see is how much a process like Lean Six Sigma is so focused on data collection for process improvement, which is really what data should all be about across the board. So it's sort of I've always been kind of near it. I haven't had the chance to dig into it, but I still find it so fascinating because to me, it's a sign of organizations wanting to see that improvement that we all strive for. This is why we do what we do, but we don't know how to do it. And I think that's where the answer is just taking a look at this and seeing, okay, like key influencers, that's all fascinating. But I'll say honestly, the one question I'd have for you, Russ, is consistently, I think when I talk to organizations about something like this, the question comes in, I don't know how to identify the data I need to collect on this. And I don't even know how to get close to defining a KPI. Like, I know what a KPI is when I see it on a screen, but how do I know that I'm actually building a good KPI? So do you have any thoughts on that, Russ?
Yeah, I have training.
I know.
I have great training on it.
It's a leading question.
Exactly what I'm doing. No, so I'm going to go through a few things that you mentioned. So in different organizations where they did Lean and Six Sigma, it was for manufacturing. You were manufacturing a physical product. That physical product for us is actually data, right? So if I think about Chris's unfortunate mortgage situation.
I got a premium mortgage that I'm sure comes with,
or fortunate in his definition.
Yeah,
So
lots of, I'm sure, benefits and pluses with the mortgage. So I'm sure
that's the product that was delivered to him. What were the inputs? It's all data. How much he makes, what his credit score is, how much the house costs. All of that goes into it. His data, the actual mortgage, is just data. That's all it is. It is now a consolidation of information and what was approved. Okay, so that manufacturing is now just basically data and formulas. Not to take anything away from it, but it brings you a great house. So that's our same solution that we're providing to other people. It is information that you're providing to other people. And Jared, that's what people need. They need that information so that they can make better decisions going forward. They would know what the problem is. Now, your next question. So basically, what hasn't happened before is that they would teach Lean Six Sigma and say, okay, go figure it out in your own organization. What a mess. right? So now you have to rely on a consultant to go, okay, well, what is my KPI here? I learned what it was for Toyota. I learned what it was in this manufacturing place. What is
Right.
it here?
Exactly.
And now you're paying these other people to kind of figure it out. But here's where Microsoft makes everything different. Everyone has the same situation. You have the same tools. So by teaching the tools at the same time of learning the methodology, I can shorten the training. You get real results real fast. Okay. Now your next part of the question is the KPI. You had a few in here. The KPI piece, right? How to identify that and what's the data I need? By asking those 5 whys. We also have another tool called the SIPOC, which is usually suppliers, inputs, your process steps, high level, your outputs, and your customers. I've changed it to sources. It's the sources of the data. It's not the supplier. We're not supplying it. We're not supplying hardware because that's where the manufacturing is. It's the source of our data. And then this is another thing, and this is a great way to start. I'm going to send you an email, Jared, to do a task. You name the task. What pieces of information do you need in that email for you to complete that task? You list all of it that you need. Now, where those inputs sit is your sources. Okay. So those are your inputs that you need. Now you can actually see what could go wrong with it. The accuracy of it. What determines if the input that you got was right or wrong. Right. So now we're taking all of that information, and that is what you will need to actually put everything together. Now, the KPI is another one. I'm going to give a situation here where, let's say we are, we could do a food. Well, we have killed food. We have totally killed food for the entire. I'm going to say we're going to the movies. All right, we have 2
popcorn.
movie theaters.
It all leads back to food.
So we're going to the movies, and in the movies, we're seeing the same movie, same time, same distance from our home. Which movie theater and why would you pick that movie theater? Okay, I want you to think about it. So, first thing that comes to your mind of what you're going to look for when you pick.
Heated
Comfy
seats.
seats.
Comfy seats. What else we got?
I don't
Food.
go to movies, so I
We got to just drop the food first. Everyone's going to go home. You can say food. That's fine. That's it.
Surround sound, screen size.
Rewards. If I've got
Ooh,
points somewhere.
rewards.
Oh, okay. Good stuff.
Ooh,
Did we lose the mic?
we lost the mic. Russ, you went on mute.
Did you hit your microphone and it went off?
Did you see it?
There we
Yeah,
go.
we got it now.
There we go.
And it went away again.
You almost
How about
had
now?
it. There you go.
Yeah, I hit it and the fuzz went off, like the little fuzzy thing. As I was saying, sound quality. Go figure. So we've got 3 things, okay? But what I do is I say to people, I say, okay, when you go away, if you're running a movie theater and you're leaving, you're going away, and you're going to get or a dashboard that you're going to look at. What are your metrics that you're going to look at? What are the key metrics you're going to look at to see how well your movie theater is producing? You know what a lot of people say? Sales, tickets, this. They never mention, did we have any broken seats? Did we have any sound issues? Right? Those are key pieces of information that you need to know that you're going to lose a customer. Those are your KPIs. Right? So we want to go through in your understanding. Bottom line, if I lose that customer, they're not coming back.
Yeah, you're right. There was a theater by us that had now that I think about it, like in every theater we go into, there was like some seats that were busted, and they were just seats that are busted, and so they had them like taped off to not sit them in or whatever. But I guess we like went, oh, they don't take care of that theater.
That's exactly right.
Didn't go back. I mean, the seats we were in were fine, but we never went back to that theater because they had busted seats. And there are other theaters to choose from that don't have busted seats. So
Busted seats, bathrooms, sticky floors. You just already you're offset with
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting. I can mention pizza. There's another one I was going to say, but in New York, if your pizza crust isn't perfect, that you can fold it and eat it, you're done. It doesn't matter what you put on the pizza. It doesn't matter. It flips. It doesn't sit. It's done.
Yeah.
So the quality of how that you're eating it, and of course, obviously, you get the pizza wrong, right? So if I'm a pizza guy, I want to make sure: did I have to redo any orders?
Right.
How many orders did I have to redo? And you look at Quiznos. They weren't tracking those metrics,
Right.
And if you get the order wrong, you get the order wrong. So
it's funny you say that. I actually drive 40 minutes. Like I have a theater within 10 minutes of me, and I don't go to it because the seats are uncomfy, the floors are sticky, and the screens are too small. So we drive 40 minutes to go to a nice theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's probably charging the same.
Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
So that was another example. But again, we can do the same thing overall. You go to an IT organization, we look at uptime. We used to look at uptime all the time, right? So and now uptime is kind of like, if you're not up, you're in trouble anyway. Like that's a really bad thing. Years ago, it was uptime was a thing, but now it's like, well, how fast can I get the data? How fast can these reports populate? How fast can I get real time information? So same situation. If I'm waiting for a report to run, and they go, oh, well, you asked for too much information. Well, what am I supposed to do? Not ask for information? Like ask for a little bit? Like that's now a huge metric for users, right? And the other thing is that they're asking for a lot of information because sometimes they don't know how to do what I just demonstrated for you.
And I think here's, and maybe like a question, because I know we're getting to end of time here, but at least a consistent thing I think I've seen when I think about this or like looking at organizations and introducing this, it's getting that initial foot in the door of this is the sort of stuff that for some organizations, they just don't track this. They don't look at it. They don't see it. And you have to try and convince this organization that this is going to provide benefit of by having data and doing all of this, you'll get better visibility and you'll improve efficiency when they can't see anything right now. What's a good approach that you use to try and help an organization who doesn't really do this is say, how do you convince them that there's something here that they're not seeing?
Well, so one of the things from this product perspective is I can't convince someone like a drug user, right? That so it's not that you're an addict and you got to stop. But what I can do is give examples. And there was one. They make dashboards. They make dashboards for their sales team. And what we were able to do is look at the lowest performers and say, okay, what are they doing? And what are the top ones? And we have the process. We were able to look at it, and we took the bottom, and we're now moving them to the average, just the average. And that increases sales for a $30 billion company 4%.
Wow.
And because we can see what to do and what to make the improvements on. So if you could say to them, if you don't want to improve your sales 4%, don't do this. But your competitor will be.
Yeah.
And it's like the movie theater. They're going to go somewhere else. So
it only took one movie for me to go somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really all it takes to just lose a customer. And that's where that waiting for information. I mean, at this point, what I see waiting for information as the biggest waste in what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're whether it's waiting on requirements or you're waiting on this, you're waiting on that, or that it's also when you talk about companies and they're thinking of that data transformation, it's no longer asking Joey or Susie for the data. You're now saying, I'm getting it from this source, I'm pulling it in.
Well, Russ, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come on here, show us about lean processing, show us this very affordable training that we could do to improve all of our lives. I have my green belt. I have my Lean Six Sigma certification. I did that like I want to say like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
I don't think 2 decades ago. But to Stina's point, like certifications don't matter if you don't get the skills and apply them. Applying those skills is why I can do these live streams and put out all the videos I put out, because I've really leveraged those concepts and those ideas in optimizing all of my workflows. And so it is truly life changing. I can't tell you how much, if you're watching this video, how much you should go ahead and you should sign up for Russ's. Yep. There we go. You guys, everyone else has figured it out here. There we are. Russ's program, it'll change your life. Christina, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's the holiday weekend, so I think this is a perfect weekend to dig deep into something like Power Lean Sigma. If I'm, not understanding that correctly, let me know. But this sounds like something that could totally change your workflow, your life, and your personal life, right? Just how you think about the tasks that are set before you. So.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel anyone who wants to reach out to me, Russ@powerleansigma.com. Happy to answer any questions or further things. So love you guys, love the audience, love the questions. It was great.
Enjoy
Thank you
Memorial
so
Day,
much.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy your
Find your-
weekend, everybody.
Get your ribeyes.
You guys
Please.
have the best weekend ever. Peace. And strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.